This man DIY engineers superhero gadgets from his garage.
My name is Jake Laser, and I'm the real-life Tony Stark. At this point, I've done over 500 projects of pretty much every imaginable superhero gadget.
Having spent countless hours over the last 9 years in his garage workshop, Jake has taken Green Goblin's glider, Iron Man's briefcase suit, and dozens of other devices from the realm of make-believe into a functioning reality.
That idea of going beyond what normal humans can do is really relatable. That excitement that you get, and that like curiosity and a little bit of mystery as well. It's all wrapped up in there. I mean, every kid loves superhero movies, so I've loved superheroes my entire life at this point. I just love that idea of doing cool stuff like superhuman abilities, you know, like flying, walking on water, running really fast, all of this stuff. I think my favorite build to date is probably the Spider-Man wall climbers. It was a lot of work, but I sort of had a vision and saw it through, and it like really worked well. I was able to climb 14-story skyscraper, and it was amazing. It was the most fun thing I've ever done. Spider-Man out.
And he's made it his career. Jake spends his days filming himself making these devices and then films them in action. He wants to share his enthusiasm and passion for the world of comic books, and hopefully inspire online audiences to try to make fictional greatness into a reality.
In my videos, I like to show the entire process, and it's mostly me failing. Like 85–90% of the video is, okay, we tried this, it doesn't work. Move on to the next thing, that didn't work either, but we got closer. And then that just makes the end of the video so much better when it does work.
For every finished piece, there are many steps of invention along the way. Even now, Jake has projects in the works that don't quite function the way he wants.
Okay, so this is my next project. This is a device that will hopefully let me walk on water. I'm about midway through this. I first started out with like floaties on my feet, which didn't go very well. It all sort of boils down to like a physics problem. So you really just need to push 190 pounds downward, and then in theory, I'll be able to stand on water. So I first ordered these propellers, completely waterproof brushless motors. They would go sort of on my feet like that. However, I don't think they're gonna have enough power to lift me out. So what I just did is got this much bigger motor, connected it to this bathroom scale. The more pressure it pushes up, we can read that right on the scale. So this was able to put out about 160 pounds of thrust, and I didn't want to go any higher than that because I physically couldn't hold it. So the plan now is to take this motor and mount it to my leg. So to do that, I first sketched up a design on the computer. This is the bare bones frame. Again, this is all trial and error, but CNC milled this. You can see sort of the similarities with the computer screen and what we have right here. So the way this works, put my foot in like that, strap it all in, there's gonna be straps everywhere. And a motor like this is gonna sit right here, and there's gonna be a shaft like this that goes through this hole out there and connect to a propeller up in here. And then that should provide more than enough thrust for me to balance and walk, run, skate around on the surface of water. And also, hopefully, swim around underwater, sort of like Aquaman. Wow. Right about now, I would say I've gotten the concept, I've done a fair amount of research, I've played around with a couple different methods like the floaties, and then sort of settled on a design that I think will work. So I'd say I'm building what I think is the final prototype. I'd say almost all the process is trial and error. Like you really don't know what's gonna happen until you do it. Like you can do as much simulating on the computer as you want, but especially in the way that I like to work, I like to make rapid prototypes first and then test. You can learn so much more from testing than you can from theorizing and running models and all this stuff. Like if you just make a crude prototype, test it, you can get so much information.
These prototypes can have many iterations, but once Jake figures out how to make a gadget work, he's ready to get into the garage and build.
So I'm gonna be making a Captain America shield that actually bounces off walls and corners and stuff. Oh, careful. Yo, good catch. So to do that, we have to do a couple of things. We need to make sure the weight of the shield is light enough so it flies, kind of like a Frisbee, but also we need to make it spring so it bounces like a ball. So to do that, we're gonna be using some fiberglass. This is basically a fiberglass ring that is about 2 feet in diameter, about the size of a shield. So this is what's gonna be on the outside. To keep it lightweight and also strong, we're gonna be making the inside of the shield out of some carbon fiber. So carbon fiber is naturally very bendy like this. So to give it its strength, we're gonna be using some epoxy. There's 2-part epoxy, mix them together, it creates a really hard substance that fuses the carbon fiber together and makes it very strong. To do that, I put a layer of mold release, put a layer of epoxy down, then put carbon fiber, put another layer of epoxy, and then put more carbon fiber on top. So it's 2 layers thick, which should give us a nice balance of strength to weight. For whatever reason, I never get tired of building. I just don't know what it is. I just get in a zone and it never feels like work, which is amazing. And I think engineering and superheroes can be one and the same. Like Iron Man sort of proved that. He's not a superhero. He doesn't have any magical abilities, but yet he's able to go toe-to-toe with a literal god like Thor. So it looks like the epoxy is dry, so I think we can pop this carbon fiber out and get to making it. So sometimes if it's not all the way hard, it won't come out of the mold completely right, but I think we should be good with this one. There we go. Yeah. Whew. All right, so then on this side we have carbon fiber, pretty hard. Just using standard scissors to trim up the edges. We're gonna trim it down so it fits a couple inches on the inside of this fiberglass. So now we're left with a nice circular carbon fiber disc that should fit inside of the ring right here. So now we have to coat this in some rubber. So I'm just gonna add a little more glue to the inside of this to just completely encase this in rubber. What that's gonna do is also protect us from the fiberglass, because fiberglass will actually splinter. It's pretty nasty stuff, but it makes for good Captain America shield, so.
No matter how long a project takes, Jake can always see the final product and drives himself towards it until the fantastical is in his hands.
So I'm just gonna use the mold as sort of a guide. We don't want a lopsided shield. Yeah, that's about right. And then once we've got it lined up, we're going to push it down, push up on all the rubber, and get it to connect. All right, so this is pretty much ready to go. We've got carbon fiber, rubber, and fiberglass all connected together. So the last thing we would have to do is paint it. But this is pretty much ready to throw at a wall, and it'll look really cool. Whew, there it is. The funny thing is, the first time I made the prototype of this shield, it worked. Like, and that never happens. I was thinking about it for a while, just how to physically make this work. And I was just like, oh, I'll just go into throw together a quick prototype. Probably did it in like 5-10 minutes. Threw it at a wall and it bounced directly back to me already. It was so cool. And I was like, oh my God. So I ran inside and showed my manager, Christian, and he was blown away too. We were like, what is this? And we were like, we're holding it's like we discovered fire for the first time. It's like, oh my God, this is gonna be amazing. I think to truly sell the story of the video and the setting we're trying to create, I think making it look movie realistic is super important. We pride ourselves not only in making cool stuff, but also more of that artistic eye to try and really capture what the movie would be in real life in a way that pretty much anyone could do it.
The functionality and realism of Jake's creations bring the magic of superheroes alive, making the worlds our comic book icons inhabit a little closer to ours.
I think that superheroes spark so much joy for a lot of reasons, actually. There's the social aspect of being able to do so much more, and having all of this pressure, I think, is pretty cool. And just that out of the norm ability that superheroes have, I think is really relatable, because I think superheroes also take a lot of inspiration from animals. Every kid looked up in the sky and seen a bird. It's like, wow, I want to do that. Then you take a superhero, put it on screen and show it flying. Like, I've always wanted to do that. Childhood me would be so excited. Just thinking back. I had all these ideas all through I was growing up, and I'm finally being able to do them, which is really cool. And there's new ideas that I never thought would be possible I'm getting, and finding a way to do those as well. I hope people take away that impossible might not be as impossible as they think. You know, if a dude in a garage can build stuff like this, you know, why can't you? I want my videos to be somewhat relatable, show that this stuff can actually exist, and sort of give people hope that like I could actually do something like that if I put my mind to it. And I hope in the same way to like maybe inspire some people to you know, learn more about science and engineering and stuff, because that really is a superpower on its own. You have this ability to create things that didn't exist, give yourself these abilities with your mind. Like, that's, to me, is amazing, and I hope I'm conveying that to other people as well.